Hey, welcome everybody. Mlb Dfs pre-lock live for Thursday night. We have a 6-game slate, 7 p.m. I am not solo today. I have a co-host with me today. Finally, I got somebody, Adam, YFC Sports V12 is otherwise known as. What's up, my man?
What's up, dude? I'm just out here, enjoying some Texas outdoor weather. It started to pick up on me. I don't know if it's a hurricane or whatever, but I'm happy to be on with you, man. I'm happy to talk some MLB and maybe some prize picks. So we got a smaller slate, and it looks good. There's some pretty bad pitching, but we're going to navigate through it, man.
Yeah, it's a good slate to actually to have somebody on with me because it's been tough the last couple of days. It's been like always seems to be one player off, picking the wrong pitcher. Like last night we used Bauer, was
Yeah,
wrong right before. Burns got burned, and I ended up not cashing a couple of slates by like less than a point.
right.
So it would be good to have also just a different viewpoint on here,
Sure.
another brain. But first of all, yourfearlesschoice.com, $35 a month, first 6 months. That includes all sports. We have so much going on right now. Adam, so you all know, is our soccer guy. He covers pretty much all soccer sites, crushes that in the price picks for soccer and other sports. Tonight, I see NBA 7:30 start. We will have something up for that. NHL 7 p.m. 2 games. There'll be some showdowns also. I think Montreal Toronto is the first one, and then Carolina Nashville is the 9:30 game. I was just looking tennis tomorrow morning. I get tennis tomorrow morning. Aussie football tomorrow night, and then you have some soccer showdowns coming up, right?
Yeah, we got a Champions League final that's right around the corner this weekend. We have there are going to be some random showdown slates with MLS starting up, European qualifiers. You're going to get World Cup qualifiers. They have a nice 100K to first tournament coming up for Euros. So that's kind of nice because, not a lot of people cover that stuff and they just don't know a lot about it. So luckily, we're able to dig in and really get some good breakdowns and have opportunity with edge. That's what's great about small sports is you can just jump in. So I think that
Exactly.
now's the time, man, to jump on board if you haven't already.
Yeah, see the WNBA tomorrow night. I remember last year, right? You guys were crushing the MSL slates and showdowns. So that's around the corner. So more than just baseball. The main sports have been our flagship: baseball, football, but especially now, right now, small sports are carrying us. Especially the esports. There's so much going on in esports. I see the CSGO, what do you call it, the Valiant. I'm seeing a bunch of winners
All
in the
right. Yeah.
winners room for that,
Yep.
and
Yep.
especially price picks.
Yeah, man.
So
It's now's the time.
yeah, definitely. I'm not sure this $35 a month special is going to be ending really soon. So there's nobody else out there that's definitely less than us that also provides the sports that we do, especially the smaller niche sports. So the time has gone now. It's also time to turn on this baseball season. And tonight, just starting with weather, there's only one concern, and it is a concern now. Baltimore at White Sox, because we are interested in the White Sox bats going against Zimmerman. I just pulled up the latest from Kevin Roth, our meteorologist from RG. But right now he's saying mostly dry in Chicago early, better rain chances late. So it looks like this is probably going to get off to a normal start.
Yep.
Even the late rain doesn't look heavy. So I think the outcome is going to be finishing in some showers. So right now it looks like they're good to go. I think the bats are definitely good. There is some people that may be playing Dylan Cease, which we'll get into in a second. I still think if you want to play him, I think he's good to go also because it looks like there's going to be a delay. It's going to be later on in the slate.
Yeah.
In Vegas, before we get to pitching, one last thing on Vegas. The latest is the White Sox, the only team over 5.2 implied. I see Arizona's creeping up there, but White Sox are our main team I'm looking at. I like the Giants, actually. I actually wrote them up earlier in our GPP write up. Again, they're going against the Dodger bullpen.
Yep.
But the White Sox are the main team looking at 5.2. Then the Cardinals 4.9, and everybody else below that. So let's get into pitching. You're our pitching guy here. Right now, our cheat sheet is up. It'll be updated shortly. But pretty much
Yeah.
those projections are staying. What do you have for projections right now for the top couple pitchers for cash?
Yeah. I mean, Steven Strasburg's coming in pretty much as the overwhelming favorite as an SP1, obviously from an ownership standpoint. Obviously he's in a a good spot. There's the worry of pitch count. I mean, he came on with the shoulder injury that he was getting over. I think he only threw a little over 70 pitches. I think he was, let me see, let me pull him up actually. It was a 72 pitches in his last start against Baltimore, but he was cruising, man. He went 5.1, one hit allowed, 4 Ks. He did have 4 walks, so his control was a little spotty. He's in against the Cincinnati team that's got a lot of pop from that left-handed side of the play. But, when Strasburg's on, he's dialed in. So he's probably going to be your overwhelming favorite in regards to ownership. And then it looks like you're going to get some ownership on Bassett. Shohei Ohtani's out there as well. Those are both guys to definitely look at. I think that the pricing on DK for Ohtani is actually not too bad at 7.7. At FanDuel, he's coming in at 10.3, which is a pretty big discrepancy. Strasburg is not available on the FanDuel slate. So, I mean, you have some choices to make up at the top. And then we got some, other games down below where you're going to get some bullpen games and then some really bad pitchers. But Cease is down there quite a bit in regards to ownership. I mean, he's only, picking up. I just had it up here for a second. Sorry about that. Cease is round about like the 25-30% probably right now. You're going to get some ownership on Sonny Gray as well, it looks like. I mean, he's against the Washington team that strikes out a lot. So Strasburg's probably coming at the highest. I think when it's all said and done, we're going to get Sonny Gray probably right underneath there just because of his strikeout upside. And then probably you're going to look at a Chris Bassett or Dylan Cease right after that. And Ohtani's probably going to be under-owned today, man.
And that's right now, I think that's my struggle. I think I'm going to go with Strasburg as the one. I'm not worried about the 72 pitches last game. It was his first game back, and I think those control issues won't be there tonight. We should see him throw 90. I think he should be fine. So I've been going back and forth on Ohtani because I think Ohtani's elite. I like the price.
Yep.
He's a pretty good favorite tonight also, which I take into consideration. The latest has him at, of course, the latest has him at no, they're favored tonight, right? Why do I have them not favored now? Maybe
I think I'm looking at the line that I'm looking at is showing Oakland is actually favored.
I thought I was wrong.
It shifted the other way where Oakland is now over a 4-run implied total. LA still sitting around 3.5. I'm wondering if that's just because of the Angels lineup that they're able to put out there. It's just not very strong.
Which is true. It's not strong, and that's another reason why I'm kind of leaning toward. I like Sonny Gray because the bottom that Washington lineup isn't strong.
Right.
But if I don't go with Ohtani, I'm thinking about kind of maybe Chris Bassett at 8.3. Bassett's one of those guys that's more, I think he's more of a better real life pitcher, but his last couple games has been good. We know he goes deep into games, which is what we like for DFS. Great walk rate, doesn't give up home runs, gets plenty of strikeouts, and he's also, look at his little pitching repertoire. He throws a fastball more than anything, but he also throws a cutter, changeup, curveball. Even throws a slider and sinker in there. So he's got a bunch of pitches. So I may be leaning Bassett right now as my SB2, but there's probably so many ways you can go tonight. We didn't even mention Alex Wood. I think he's going to go overlooked against the Dodgers, and the Dodgers right now, they're injured, they're strikeout prone right now. That lineup, I think Alex Wood may come in at the end of the day as one of the strongest plays the slate, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say he's probably my favorite pitcher down there, just because I think I wrote up recently about like he was very much a pitcher that was very fortunate in what he had been put in front of him for the season so far, and I wasn't 100% sold on him for last game. But to be honest, he went into play LA. Of course they were pitching in San Fran, I believe, but he put up 17.5 DraftKings points, 6 innings pitched, 8 hits allowed, 7 Ks on there. The dude has been a ground ball out machine. What I wrote up before that was he was fortunate to play 2 games against Miami, a game against Colorado, who's bad. He had one struggle game, which in course makes me think, okay, well, the numbers didn't make a lot of sense. Then, of course, he went into Texas and Pittsburgh, who are extremely strikeout prone. But then, he kind of went and turned it around, and, it's like, man, this guy, he's actually dealing. He used to be I don't know if you remember that. I'm sure you do. But back that far, he used to be a pretty elite prospect in regards to pitching.
He was, definitely. Yep.
And so he's sitting at the last 2020, 2021 season combined at a 3.83 xFIP, 25% strikeout rate. The really cool part is he's a reverse splits pitcher as a lefty, which a lot of people don't really realize. They see him pitch, they're like, oh, righties are going to mash him. But he actually has a lower WOBA with righties against him at a 2.85. Lefties hit at a 0.305, and the ISO is only 0.129. He strikes out right-handers at a 28.3% clip, and he's going to be facing, let's see, 7 out of 9 possible right-handed bats today against a struggling Dodgers team. Yeah, man, I think that he's in a really good spot. I think he's a little sneaky.
That's a really good call to see that too. The ISO is under 1 against righties, low, but that's a good call there. Definitely, I didn't realize how reverse splits he was, but also about Wood. Gets batters to chase. I'm looking at CSW as elite. His whip is excellent. He's a ground ball pitcher. Doesn't give up too many fly balls. Great walk rate. So not giving up any home runs. Plenty of strikeouts. And he goes like Bassett. He goes deep into games. So that I believe the Dodgers aren't out yet. So
yeah,
the latest out. So yeah, I think Wood may be a sneaky play here, and he's going to be low owned. So at the end of the day, you got Wood at 6'9", Bassett at 8'3". Yeah, we know the Angels are watered down, but so are the Dodgers. When you got Albert Pujols as your cleanup hitter,
I'm telling you.
I mean, a little bit better, I guess. I mean, you got Betts, Turner, Muncy, Wilson. I mean, I really like Chris Taylor tonight, but yeah, don't sleep on Alex Wood, and ex-Dodger. He was a big prospect in the Dodger organization. I actually won a lot of money with him 5 or 6 years ago. Remember, FanDuel used to do those survivors. They'd go on for like a month, and I remember I made it to the finals with Alex Wood, one of those survivors.
Yeah, he was my guy, man. He was my fantasy. I had a dynasty league for baseball. I had this kid for forever, and I held on to him. He had some injury woes. Any of those pitchers that came up, especially through the Dodgers organization, they were babied a little bit. You talk about pitch counts and whatnot. So, I mean, I'm gonna roll him, even in cash. I just feel like for what he could do to you and hurt you, it's going to allow you to get in a lot of these stacks where we talked about earlier how odd MLB has come to where you can't even play straight chalk because you're not going to cash because it's like the guy out, but it doesn't. So, did I get kicked off?
No, you're on.
Oh, okay, sorry, I had a phone call there. My apologies, guys. But yeah, I'm all about Alex Wood today. I'm going to play him. Probably look at him with Strasburg here. I'm going to look at Bassett really hard. I think that's a good call, man. I've always been down on Bassett, but I think that he's in a really good spot. The numbers make sense here. He shouldn't get touched up too much. I wonder what that plays is. Their best hitter against him would be Ohtani, right? And
Yeah.
him also having to pitch the game. I haven't really looked at any kind of weird stats with that, but I wonder if that would affect Ohtani at all in his effectiveness. Maybe not. The dude's a monster, so I don't know.
Yeah, and he usually goes into right field once he gets pulled. Anyways, but it's Bassett is in a good spot. But you look at that lineup from 5 through 9. I mean, I'm looking at projected right now, but when you got guys like Lagares, Jose Rojas batting 6th. I mean, come on, it's so it is weak. And once again, I think Bassett's a much better real life pitcher, but he's a pitcher that you're not gonna get hurt with. It's kind of like Alex Wood.
Right.
I mean, some of these other guys could get blown up. Sonny Gray could get blown up. I've used Sonny Gray over the years. Knees hurt me. He's gotten blown up before too. So, Ohtani's all right with the strikeouts. I like Ohtani a lot, but I think I'm leaning right now Strasburg, Popular, and Wood. Because you made a really good point today for the early slate. I ended up going chalk today, and next thing I know, I'm with 100 other people, and say a $10 double up, you cash, but you make it's $2. They got the same lineup. So, and this new DFS landscape, you got to be. I'm learning you got to be different. You can play a few chalk plays, but when you see something different, you go with it. Zig where they're all zagging because I think it's the only way to go right now until things kind of slow down. Because right now it's a pitcher's game. The league back
man,
like
I agree.
13 or something, some crazy number like that.
Yeah, I mean, it just for me, just my last thoughts on it is that you play Sonny Gray whenever he's going to be tucked into that low elite tier range as a GPP guy. He's very rarely a cash guy unless you're going to be really sitting out there with he's pitching against I don't know the Giants, Miami, or hopefully he gets a team like a Texas Rangers or Seattle. Somebody's going to strike out a lot, but like I said, it's weird. I think the Nationals are much better here than they're probably looked at.
Yep, totally agree. So we're on the same page here, looks like. All right, so if anybody has any questions on pitching or whatever, jump in, ask questions in the YouTube chat. Let's go. We're gonna go around in bases. Catcher, what do we have right now? Looking at our projections at YFC, do we have anybody that's like running away with the board and catcher right now?
Yeah. So looking at catcher ownership right now, I guess catcher first base is how our cheat sheet does look at it. Is for DK right now. I think our highest owned catcher looks up to be Yadi Molina, Carson Kelly. They're all pretty up in that upper teens percentage for the FanDuel slot. Looks like Paul Goldschmidt is going to be the runaway favorite right now in regards
Yeah.
to ownership. He's sitting over 30%. I don't think the closest guy to him is roughly probably around 24%. You're looking at like a Matt Olson or something like that. This does not look like a night where people will be playing a catcher in that spot. But from the DK aspect of it, I mean, like I said, I didn't find one catcher that when I was doing research that stood out to me a ton. I think Grandal is going to pick up a lot of ownership. Mercedes, they've both been confirmed in the top 5 of that batting order against Zimmerman and that Baltimore bullpen. Yadi Molina right there. So I think that the White Sox guys are probably going to be surging to the top of the ownership boards, and we'll talk more about them at the end on Prize Picks. But yeah, what do you think on catcher, man?
Yeah, right now, I mean, Mercedes kind of become my favorite player right now in MLB, and especially when he's going up against a lefty. And we got a lefty tonight that they're facing is Bruce Zimmerman. And I've learned again 2 M's and 2 N's. I've written his name so many times today, especially because he's a gas can going up against the White Sox. And you look at, I mean, his XFIP's off the charts, hard contact over 40%. But the main thing is Mercedes right now, he's facing lefties. He's got a 490 WOBA, but 200 ISO, and his batting average is like 360 or some crazy number like that. So he's definitely my favorite catcher. He'll probably be more owned than Grandal. So Grandal's kind of a nice little, maybe a pivot to Grandal. So they're my 2 favorites. I think Molina's is definitely a safe cash play tonight against the Arizona bullpen game. One other name I brought up today in my article, and I do see he's bat 8th, so I wasn't sure if he was going to be catching or Murphy, but I believe Nottingham's actually DH is Jacob Nottingham, ex-Brewer. He's a guy that's got a lot of pop, probably more of a GDP, but very limited sample size. I think it's like 40 at bats, 516 ISO, 414 WOBA. That's crazy advanced metrics against lefty, and the lefty is Colby Allard. So you can hit around Colby Allard. He's got, ZRA isn't that bad this year. He's been mostly pitching out of the pen. But if you're running GPPs, I would take a look at Jacob Nottingham tonight going against the lefty Colby Allard. He's actually now with Seattle. Nottingham was with Milwaukee, 3 weeks ago? They brought him back, he had a home run, then they released him again. Now he's in Seattle.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like we're bringing back the old MLB. We're not playing one-offs anymore. We're stacking, but one of these guys and one of these teams that I've seen win a lot of people on Twitter a ton of money is these giant stacks, man. And Buster Posey, brother, I mean, he's coming back. He's hitting. I mean, he's not exactly hitting for power at this point in his career, but almost 10 homers. He's got 9 home runs, hitting 339, 1.024 OPS. I mean, he's sitting there at 4.3. He's going to be basically hitting against a bullpen game with the Dodgers. I mean, I don't think David Price is scaring anybody at this point in his career. So he's somebody also that I'm looking at.
Posey's not starting.
Oh, he's not? Well,
No,
there you go.
It just came across as you were saying that. I looked it up, and Kirk Casale is starting. So, and that's a good call because all him and Longoria and Crawford, all 3 of them have like Renaissance seasons.
Yeah. I would have been really interested in him because he usually has been batting at the top of the lineup. So, yeah, I mean, then that's probably where you're at. Either you're punting or you're playing a White Sox, I think.
Yeah, agree. I know Will Smith's going to be popular like always, but I've come to the point now. I use Will Smith. He's a reverse splits hitter. I use Will Smith against righties instead of lefties. His numbers are totally opposite now with the reverse split. So I pretty much, and it's out. Even Tom Murphy, both up for Seattle as my punts. I don't think you need punts today, but we're not going 2 elite pitchers. But definitely, if you're going GVPs, you can give one of those guys a shot. Especially Nottingham's got a little pop to him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm on board with the GPP. You got to go for the guys that are going to come in low owned, hit a bomb, and pay off.
The Mike Zunino types.
There you go.
All right, what are we looking at for first base right now for ownership?
Ownership, first base, we're looking at, like we talked about, Goldie coming up there, obviously Matt Olson, sitting up there up top. I think Abreu's probably going to wind up leading in ownership. I'm seeing a lot of lineups coming through, so things are going to be updated constantly. So Abreu's probably going to peak at the top of the ownership with Goldschmidt up there. I think there's going to be some punt guys coming in there. Let me see who else we had. Let's see. So for FanDuel, Goldschmidt, then Olson, and then looks like Lowe, and then Smith is obviously eligible in that spot. For DK, you got Goldie. We talked. Carpenter is actually first base eligible, I
I
believe.
see
He's
that.
coming in as a punt play on there. Is he? Yeah, he's 2,800 on DK, min price on FanDuel. So that's obviously something that you can look towards as well. Let me see here. It looks like I got some stuff, some data
Wait,
just
Matt
updated here.
Carpenter didn't make the lineup either.
Okay. Yeah, all these these lineups are coming through here.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
the
it looks
lineups
like
came out late tonight.
Abreu, Goldschmidt, Carpenter's on there. So Andrew Vaughn is also going to be a 2.5K, and he looks to be first base eligible. I have to double check that, but he's going to be.
He is, I believe. Yep.
Yep, first base and outfield eligible. Batting six, man, for these White Sox that I'm really in love with tonight. So he's somebody to look at if you're going to pay down. I mean, I think that's the guy to go to.
And I'm playing Vaughn either at probably in the outfield because I am in love with Abreu tonight.
Yeah, me
And
too.
Abreu owes me from the other night. But
Yep.
look at Vaughn. He's 2.5. Now I've learned already you don't play Vaughn against righties, but against lefties, 441 ISO, 497 WOBA, 324 batting average. This is almost 50 at bats. And
Yeah.
he's a young hitter, big time prospect. Definitely at that price, you get Vaughn in your lineup somewhere. I'm not sure where because at first base, my call is going to be Abreu. I know a lot of people are on Goldie. Goldie's price has actually dropped now. He's at 4-1. Actually, I think last week was like at 3-9. But to me, Abreu, you play Abreu against lefties, especially gas can lefties, and that's what Zimmerman is. So to me, it's all about Abreu. I like Nate Lowe tonight also. His price has dropped down. He's below 4K now. And the thing with Nate Lowe is Chris Flexen doesn't miss many bats. Lowe's a contact hitter. Also on a 6-game hitting streak. So to me, I'm ranking them personally Abreu, Lowe, and Goldie, but I think Goldie may actually end up being a popular play because St. Louis is going to be popular tonight against that Arizona bullpen game.
Yeah, I agree. And you're looking at almost a similar price point. When you're talking about the pay ups, the 5K players, Abreu. And I really came on the stream to be honest with you, Pete, just to hear you say Abreu instead of Abreu. So that's really the only reason that I'm here is because I knew that the Shy Stocks and we were going to talk about him. No, man, but you're going to save $1,200 on DK playing Goldie over Abreu, but I mean, that's something that you got to look at. You're like, hey, am I stacking or do I want to get a piece of this St. Louis lineup here? I mean, you got to really look at it from the standpoint of that's going to be a decision for everybody. And, you have Vaughn down there, but I really feel like you said, you have 3 outfield spots. So why not use that? The one thing that I was looking at earlier is I was trying to say, okay, well, do we have any good weather games to kind of see where these guys are hitting at? But I mean, where is it in regards to Chase Field? That used to be a big hitters stadium. Is that still the same? Still the case there?
Yeah, I mean it is, but you can tell there's a big difference now. It's not like it's not like it was.
Yeah, and then you got the White Sox game. There's going to be a little bit. You got the weather there, temperatures down, the winds blowing a northeast wind in a little bit. So, I mean, it's not the best hitting weather, but it is humid. So, I mean, I don't know. You're looking at almost 90% humidity. So, I mean, I'm looking at weather in regards to trying to make some decisions here, but I think you can't go wrong picking on one of those guys, Abreu or Goldschmidt up top.
And I don't have information. I don't know why. It usually comes up by now. I'm not sure if the roof is open or closed in Arizona. So if anybody in the chat has that information, I go right to the Arizona website and there's nothing for. Oh no, never mind. It's open. No, I got it. It's open. So
Okay.
it's open. So it's given Arizona a little bit of a plus of an upgrade. So Pavin Smith is sitting there. I kind of like Arizona tonight. Pavin Smith is sitting there also as a punt play for first baseman.
Yeah. And I'm liking it more and more looking at this weather in regards to this is that if we get some depressed White Sox ownership, that's going to be it's going to be kind of nice because I think this game is still going to play, and you could get these guys super low owned. People might jump off them at the end here if they get scared out in cash or GPP. So that might be something to look at. I'm not going to say it's safe. It's too hard. I'm not a weather guy. I just go by what the experts say. But I mean, that is something. If you're a guy that you're like, hey, I want to make sure these guys are playing. I'm not going to have to sweat the weather. Then you might want to play Goldschmidt at first base.
And I just, once again, anybody that jumped on later, the update, the latest we do see in the White Sox is it looks like they're going to start dry and play through some light rain. But once again, anytime there's rain there, you got to worry about the starting pitchers.
Yeah.
And we even saw last night, we were really worried about Boston. I did make a mistake because I pulled some Boston players and they end up playing. They got delayed, and then they ended up coming back in and starting again on something like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
And by pulling Bogarts, those Bogarts 2 walks and 2 runs
Oh
knocked me
yeah.
up 2 points. So rain can go
That's
either way. I've won GPPs running lineups with teams that everybody thought was going to get postponed, and they played. So, but cash games, you're right. Goldie's probably the safest play. You want to look before lock, but you're probably right about Goldie. Probably is a safe play here against Arizona because if there is rain and the Brew gets two at bats, and then Goldie gets 4 or 5, and you're kind of screwed.
yeah, absolutely. That's a great point, man. Yeah. So yeah, just keeping it in the chat, guys. Let's go ahead. Let's move on to second base if you don't got anything. Keep it
Nope.
going here.
What do you got here for ownership?
So looking at it, it looks like Nick Madrigal. We talked about him earlier a little bit about just kind of hitting leadoff. Tommy Edman is going to be somebody that they're going to be looked at, especially on FanDuel pricing. These guys are super cheap, man. But top of the order, positive splits here today. I would definitely say that Edmund to me on DK 4.8 is kind of a big ask, especially in a position that is one I tend to look at paying down on.
Yep.
So obviously that's somebody to look at. I will say that I really feel like Madrigal is going to be somebody that's going to be probably pretty popular here. Just batting leadoff, 3.3K. He's going to be my favorite play by far. But I'm not going to fault anybody that's going to want to look at Tommy Edman here. I think Nick Solak has double digits ownership as well. So, and then like I said, we don't have Carpenter. So, like I said, that's kind of where we're at, man.
Yep. Madrigal's my play. Anytime I get Madrigal batting on top of the order, which he is tonight, he's got 6 hits over his last 2 games. He's sitting almost 300 on his season, 400 over his last 10 games.
Yeah.
Great spot against Zimmerman with Timmy Anderson out. So yeah, Madrigal's my call. If I wasn't going to go Madrigal, Tommy Edman. I played him yesterday. Actually, I won a dollar GPP using Edman as with his 2 home runs yesterday. But David Fletcher, I also like too. 4-game hit streak, and I was just looking. He's 7 for 15 lifetime off of Bassett with 3 doubles. So Fletcher's playing much better. Fletcher's not going to win you. He's not going to win you anything, but he's also going to get you a couple hits. He's not going to get you a 0. So I kind of like Fletcher as a pivot off of Madrigal. Nicky Solak, I don't mind. Ty France, I think he's got a decent matchup against the lefty hour today too. So kind of like maybe Ty France, but to me it's gonna be Madrigal and cash. It's gonna be high owned. I think you play him. If not, it'd be Tommy Edman, I guess. I can't pay that much for Tommy Edman.
I can't either. And now he's going to hit a home run, so you guys jump all over him. That's usually the way it goes, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. I think it's pretty. If you're gonna trust us enough, guys, I would just say just play Madrigal and cash. 3.3 is not going to burn you if he's leading off and he's the most likely to get 3 to 4 at bats, even if the game is shortened up. So I think that it's a bad bullpen and everything. I think it's pretty safe to say that this is just where you go there. I would say I agree with Pete. Solak is probably in a good spot. Seattle Flexen's not a good pitcher, even though it's Texas. Yes, they strike out, but yes, they also hit the ball hard. And the only one that is kind of like a big, I guess, from a GPP standpoint is. If you feel like you want to attack and get some good leverage, Baltimore, nobody's going to play these guys today against Cease, and Cease is okay, but he's also
Right.
he can blow up too. So you can put some Baltimore stacks in, just throw it in $1 GPP. I think that's smart.
Also, another one, Max Muncy. If you're not using Wood in some GPPs, Muncy hits 251 ISO against lefties, reverse split. So,
Yeah,
I mean, GPP only, but
yeah,
somewhere else to go.
yeah, yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
third base. So we got third base ownership.
All right, so it looks like FanDuel, you're definitely looking at Arenado is going to top the ownership marks. I mean, he's only 3.2 on FanDuel. That seems stupid. Justin Turner's right under him, high 20s. Escobar, high 20s. On DK, it looks like from what I'm seeing on our cheat sheet, and I'll kind of confirm this as well, but it looks like you're going to get Moncada pretty high in regards to ownership. Turner, Arenado, and then of course my guy, who's actually my favorite play at third base, is Kyle Seager today. But what do you think on third base before I'll kind of talk about Seager?
Yeah, I like Seager too, and third base is tough because Arenado's 5'7", and we know he's going to be popular. Probably the better play to me. Jan Moncada is the guy you play more in White Sox stacks.
Right.
I mean, he might get you a hit or two. Seager, I'll let you talk with Seager, but Seager's hot and he hits Allard. Another play also I like is make sure he's starting. The Giants are out. It is Longo batting fifth. He's only 3.7,
Wow.
and he's still smashing lefties. I mean, he's still going against. I think Price starting now. Now Price is gonna be a starter. It's a bullpen game though. But he gets
Yeah.
Longo against lefties this year. 455 ISO, 565 WOBA, 394 batting average. He had that big game. Was it 2 nights ago? He had the home run, double, 4 ribbies.
Yeah.
3.7 for Evan Longoria, and said he knows how to hit. I had no problem with him batting fifth. So
Yeah.
some of the other plays, Arenado's a decent play against the bullpen, and this may be another spot where you go different.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it's going to be a little bit. Like I said, I mean, the same old tricks usually have not always panned out here. Third base is always a pay up spot. That's your power position. You're usually getting someone in the heart of the lineup, and yeah, I mean, I really I dig the fact that Seattle is going to be lower owned. They're a late night hammer. Texas is pretty terrible all around. Their bullpen, I checked on it too, man. They're actually worse than Baltimore by a good margin. I think as a bullpen, their xFIP is almost a 5.5, which is pretty awful. And, Allard's a pretty bad pitcher. He's actually also a reverse splits pitcher by looking at that. And that's kind of one of those things. That's why you dig into some of these pitching stats, is because, nobody's going to want to play him. They're going to want to play Haniger. They're going to play Kyle Lewis in France. And that's fine. But if you're digging into the numbers, and the numbers do matter, you're talking about over 130 plate appearances against lefties, over 300 plate appearances against right-handers. He's pretty much a good margin, head and shoulders worse against left-handers. He gives up a 45.5% hard hit rate against lefties. You're looking at Kyle Seager, and just the name alone, I mean, the guy hits almost a 40% hard hit rate on there. His pitch type that he's got is nothing, that is going to really scare anybody. These lefties that can hit lefties, I mean, they hit them hard. You're talking about your Joey Gallos and stuff like that. I mean, Seager, he hits against the cutter. Kobe Allard, throws a lot of cutters here against lefties, which makes a lot of sense. But he also has a .529 ISO, a .392 WOBA. I mean, those are, really, really good numbers. And I think he's 4 of 8 with them from a BVP standpoint, 2 bombs against him in his career. So, I mean, I'm just saying, yeah, you can play I can play the Moncada, I can play the Arenado. Sure. But if you want to dip down a little bit at 4.8, Kyle Seager is probably going to go pretty low owned. Or, like Pete said, play Longoria here. That's probably really sharp. He's a professional hitter. So,
yep. I like that. In that 4 for 8 off Allard, 2 of them are bombs for Seager.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, man.
You're bringing up those metrics. I was looking at them also, and it adds up when he's hard contact pitcher, fly ball pitcher, and Seager. You can't ask for more of a fly ball hitter, hard contact hitter. So it all adds up for bomb tonight for Seager.
Yeah, I think he's going deep, man.
Yep.
I'm going to put him in my main lineup and just and crack a beer and just root for some late night hammers tonight. So
no, I agree with you. No, any other play, maybe Eduardo Escobar could be sneaky against Seamart, who gets hit around, but that's pretty much it. Justin Turner as GPP play. because we like Wood. So all right, that's it. Short. Who do we got for shortstop? Who's our top owned shortstop right now?
Yeah, so it looks like let me see here because this thing is updating a lot. I know Tommy Edman, obviously, I think he's shortstop eligible, but
Yeah,
right now on DK, I think that you got Edman, you got Rojas, and you got Trey Turner right there. I think Trey Turner, people are looking at, they're probably looking at Sonny Gray and they're looking at Turner and they're like, ah, man, how can he really pay off? But dude, this is one of those guys, and Miz Junior lookalike here. I mean, he puts up points. He gets on base. It's like automatic stolen base, like almost every time he sits, gets on. But I think that he's going to be a pay up to really consider. But obviously, from an ownership standpoint, I think Edmund and Rojas makes a lot of sense going against Carmart. Carmart's been really bad the last couple. It just that shocks me honestly more than anything in baseball is to see some of these guys that there's such high hopes and they're pitching so well and it looks like they got it together and they just fall apart. And this is a guy that's fallen apart. And you watch him pitch and he has not gotten any better. Like, I mean, he's still sitting almost at a 5 xBit, 4.84 over 2020, 2021. His numbers are not crazy high in regards to an ISO or a WOBA, but, it seems like, if he doesn't get that ground ball going, like a ground ball pitcher, over 53% ground balls. But if you get a ground ball pitcher versus a fly ball hitter, usually if the fly ball hitter makes contact, he's going to launch one, out of the park. You got Escobar, 43% of a fly ball rate. Stephen Vogt, a lefty that we can talk about maybe in GPP, 54% and a fly ball rate there. But looking at there, Rojas is sitting at the top of that lineup, about a 30%, which isn't crazy high, but he also is really good in a really good spot. He hits righties decent. I was looking at their hit metrics earlier. I mean, it's kind of tough. If he was more expensive, I'd be like, all right, cool. Well, I'm just going to
right.
fade the guy here. But for what it is. But I think that top of the lineup here, under 4K, he's somebody to consider.
I love Rojas. He had a good night last night. He had 2 or 3 hits last night, including a double. I think he actually may be one of my favorites on the slate. He got the positive split. So he had 3 hits last night. Rojas, this kid for St. Louis, Edmundo Sosa. Make sure he made the lineup again because he's hitting 7th. He's just crushing the ball. He's hitting 464 of his last 10 games since he's came up. I like him. Turner, though, it's a 7-inning game, though, right? It's a doubleheader. So Turner can still get you enough points. I can't pay almost $5K for Tommy Edman. Brandon Crawford, possibly. I could deal with Brandon Crawford, but, he's going against the lefty and priced for a couple innings there. So now, I think my top play is probably Rojas, and he's done well for me. Danny Mendick, I guess, may catch a little bit. What's Mendick? Mendick's batted 9th, but he's so cheap at 2.9. But you score Rojas. To me, Rojas leading off. I like that play a lot. Freddie Galvis is always going to be popular for Baltimore.
Being a switch hitter. Yeah.
Hitting the top. He should be hitting the top of the order tonight too, right? He's batting 5th. Wow, I thought he was going to bat 2nd. So he's batting 5th against Cease. I'd rather not go against Cease. So I don't know. I think I may land on Josh Rojas here and run him out.
Yeah, and I think you're fine with Sosa too. I mean, he's popped up on a lot of just people's radars. That's a great call. I know it was mentioned in the chat too, but yeah, I mean, he's just it's when you're paying down there, it's like I don't really like anybody in that mid range. Like I said, I don't think if I feel like I'm going to pay 4.8 for Tommy Edman, I'm going to find enough money to get to Trey Turner. That's kind of how I feel about it, or I'll just figure something out. But I think that looking at those cheaper guys, Rojas, I think Sosa. You can look at a Mendick. I think Mendick is really sharp in a White Sox stack, especially if you do a wraparound stack.
Yep.
Nobody plays the 9-hole hitter in stacks, which just it boggles my mind. Is if you're in GPP and you want to be different, you have to do something different. Playing the 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4 or 3, 4, 5 hitters, or the top 5 is not going to be different. Everybody's going to be stacking that. Put some gaps, some stop gaps in there. Look at your guys that are going to consistently bat, and maybe they're not, going to get pinch hit for. Somebody like Mendick sitting at the bottom of that lineup. I mean, he could very easily hit a bomb at less than 1% if you play him and you're saving salary. So, just game theory there.
No, I don't mind Mendick at all, and I've actually had success playing Mendick over the years. He just had, I believe, couple weeks ago. He had a home run there. If I remember, it was on a weekend a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, but good play. I think I might run Rojas. Turner. Turner's always the play. Always in there. It's gonna cost you. But Kiner Falefa, he's also a play for Texas.
Yeah.
But that's it. There's not a lot of pay ups tonight, anyways. So you can even leave money on the table tonight, I think, with some of these plays.
And you can play Rojas in the outfield too, Pete, too. So
I keep forgetting. There's a lot of these guys tonight that I keep forgetting you can play in other spots, like we said, Vaughn earlier. So you're talking about outfield. Let's go to outfield. What do we got for outfield? Is anybody super high owned that we like? I need to play, or somebody's gonna hurt if we don't play.
So Dylan Carlson will be coming in as your chalk ownership outfielder. It looks like hitting second. Switch hitter, top of the lineup, bad Arizona bullpen team. I mean, that's going to be kind of your de facto like guy that you're going to pay up for. I think in cash, he's cheap enough where you kind of have to have him here. Like, it's one of those things, like when you get a 50% player that's above 5K, my opinion has always been you can pivot off of that because all of those guys are good hitters. They're all elite all-star level players. So, I can pivot from an Acuna to a Mookie Betts and probably get around the same, return on there. But when you're talking about a cheap guy here that is going to be, 3.1 on DK, 2.2 on FanDuel. I mean, he's actually not the highest owned FanDuel player because I think that there's so much value on FanDuel, which me and you have had this conversation before about the wacky pricing there. But, I think that he's going to come in really high owned in regards to the FanDuel pricing. Mookie Betts is up there. What I saw. Let's see. Yeah, he's the highest owned stud. He's sitting at 26% ownership ish. But you got my guy Kyle Lewis from my Seattle Mariners that I'm going to be looking at tonight. Tommy Edman, of course, he's going to be carrying over ownership as well. Oh, I'm sorry, I still have to screw some up. Sorry. Kyle Lewis, Andrew Vaughn, we talked about him earlier. Ketel Marte, switch hitter against Carmart here. Mitch Haniger, Dickerson playing here at San Francisco. So, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to look at it. I think Carlson's going to be a guy you're going to play in cash, unfortunately. I don't think you have to play a bunch of chalk plays, but I think he's going to be one you're going to have to look at here.
Yeah, I've been playing him a lot, especially when he's up in that order. I mean, he's not going to get you 30 DK, but he's going to get you enough to pay off a salary. Another one, I don't understand why he still is not catching ownership is Adolis Garcia.
I'm telling you, man.
Tied for the league in home runs, 14. 5 homers his last 5 days with 11 ribbies in that same span. And, people may shy away because they see it's a righty on righty, but you go to his metrics this year against righties, 340 ISO, 403 WOBA, 44 fly ball, 52% hard contact. Going against Flexen, gives up 40% hard contact. To me, this is a match made in heaven for Adolis Garcia at only, 3.7 or 3.8? I mean, to me, that's a must play. 3.6. And if he goes over 5, he goes over 5. But I mean, come on, the guy's just hitting bombs left and right. He's on fire at 3.6. I mean, same guys like there's guys that are higher, they're more money than him. Justin Upton is around his same price. I mean, Upton's been okay, but still, he's not hitting like Garcia. Santander's around there too. But to me, Garcia's the play tonight, especially the way I see how he's hitting righties.
I disagree one bit with that. I think that's just like it's a super nuts play. It's like you got to say, okay, who do I trust more at this point? Right. Who do I trust more at this point in the season? Do I trust Garcia or do I trust a Rojas or a Madrigal? Like, yeah, those are great values, and if you have them at other positions, I'm just saying when you're looking at apples to apples, this happens in soccer a lot where you get these defender eligible players and midfielders where these guys are still going to put the same. You're going for DK points. You're not worried about having the best value outfielder, the best value second baseman. So if you have the salary, use it. And and kind of go from there. So yeah, man, I think that's pretty straightforward in regards to outfield. You got those values, and you're gonna be able to pay up for a few players tonight. So that's definitely going to.
One last play I like also is I think he's going to go under owned is Mitch Haniger. Solid matchup against a weak lefty. He's still crushing the ball. He's still he's up there in home runs, up in the league lead. So I like Haniger. You mentioned Kyle Lewis. So there's a bunch of plays there. We didn't even mention David Peralta, Chris Taylor, GPPs. You did mention Marte, I like him, and Vaughn is my top punt tonight. So I may end up having Vaughn and Garcia in my outfield, and then we have plenty of money for other places, like for people like Jose Brew and Mercedes, guys like that.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think Garcia at this point, he's just that's just such a solid bit of
Mm-hmm.
analysis, Pete. Good hitters are good hitters, man, and we can't define them by their price tag just because you're like, oh, I don't want to leave 300 on the table. I'm an upgrade from Garcia to this guy who's hitting a buck 80, and you're like, but it's a righty lefty matchup, whatever it is. You got to remember that this flexing kid, he ain't gonna be out there very long tonight. So
One other name I didn't mention who's getting hot, I believe, is Joey Gallo in the outfield. I'm starting to like these Texas bats. And
yeah, man, I
where's
like that game.
Jason? You got Jason Martin in the outfield at 2-1, bat eighth, lefty on flexing. That's a nice little punt play. Martin's a prospect. I don't know. It'd be nice if this night we had two big pitchers that we were using, but don't sleep on Jason Martin sitting there at 2-1.
Yeah, I think that everything's going to be dictated by your pitching tonight, guys. So if you're listening out there, depending on who you pick, if you're playing two guys up top, two aces, whatever you want to call it, two 9K plus guys, you're definitely going to play some of these value plays. There's plenty of value to go around. So I think this is just a night where if you want to be a little bit different, man, leave a couple $100. Like, don't freak
Yeah,
out about
definitely.
it. Like I said, yeah. So
Totally agree with you. All right, who's
yeah,
your
man.
home run call tonight?
Man, I've got to go with Seager, man. Kyle Seager's just I've dug in on him. I dug in on these Seattle bats. I think that this bullpen is really, really bad. I think that they'll get, even if they get Allard out of there, they're going to put in some other scrubs. Seager just hits the ball extremely hard. He's one of those professional power hitters there, and I think this game's going to go. I don't even know what the over under is, but for you betting guys out there, I would really look at if you can get a good sharp line on there. But yeah, Seager's my guy. What about you, Pete?
Adolis Garcia would be too easy, so I'm gonna stay in the same game though. I think I'm gonna throw out there Joey Gallo out there. Hit a home run yesterday. Streaky hitter. I could see him hit another bomb today. So if it's not Garcia, I like Joey Gallo. Of course, I like the White Sox guys. Yeah, I'll run with Joey Gallo.
Yeah, and you guys know they only let me on this stream because the Astros weren't on the slate because they already know. They already know we would be stacking tonight. So, no, man, I appreciate it. I know we got prize picks left. You want me to kind of lead out of what I have there?
Yeah, lead up. I see Chris Duffy. You finally have your chance to get Gallo a home run tonight. So,
Yep.
all right,
We appreciate
let's go to
it.
prize picks. Yeah, Adam, take it away. Prize picks.
Yeah, so, I mean, I looked at it. The pitching lines on the board were just kind of iffy here and there. Remember, when you're playing prize picks, you can't play batters versus pitchers. So you got to kind of go mix and match. I like to really kind of play all pitchers together or all batters. Or I'll mix in one pitcher every now and then with my hitters, but I have all hitters on the board tonight. I didn't have an article out with this, but I do want to mention I do have a 5 pick for you guys that are on the stream. So this is what I'm playing. I don't know where the lines are at, but I do have a couple of White Sox that I like a lot. I have Yasmani Grandal, 1.5 hits plus walks. I have him going over. He walks at nearly a 40% clip. He's going in a great spot tonight. It's a hits plus walk, so he just got to get on base twice, and he should be over there batting at the top of the lineup in the 2-hole. Jose Abreu, I also have at 1.5 total bases. These power hitters, if you can get them under the total bases category, are the nuts there because the guy hits one double. He doesn't need a bomb, and he's already over. It's 1.5 total bases. So, you want to stay away from. And I talked to Pete about this before the stream on the hits plus walks with these power guys because they could go 1 for 5 with the bomb, and you still go under 1.5. So you got to be careful on the categories that you're picking there. So runs plus RBIs is sharp, but obviously I like Abreu at 1.5 total bases. Kyle Seager, he's out there, guys, on runs plus RBIs at 0.5. He can hit a sacrifice fly tonight, get an RBI, and he goes over there. He just needs one run or one RBI, and that's an extremely soft. He's my favorite play at 0.5. I just think that just makes a lot of sense here tonight. I also have Jared Kelenic leading off here for Seattle. The lefty, I have him at 0.5 runs plus RBIs also, just because being at the top of the order, if he's on base, and you got to use the what we've already given you as game theory that if Mariners are going to do well, the top of that order, Klinic's just got to get on base. He could be hit by a pitch. He can get on with a walk. He can get on with an error, whatever it is. he could still score, a run scored in that sense as well. But my last play that I have on there is a Trey Turner 7.0 fantasy score. I really do like that. Anytime I have these guys like these Trey Turners, Ronald Acuñas that can steal bases, that can hit for power, hit for contact, these 5-tool players, they're the ones that I usually like to target on the fantasy score. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if these lines are going to go up or down. I don't know. You can definitely look at some of these Arizona batters, these switch hitters like a Marte. Haniger's on there. Kyle Lewis is on there. If your boy Garcia is on there, man, I'm gonna grab him. I'm gonna look at the board. So if he's there, I'm definitely gonna look at him. So, is there anything that stood out to you, Pete?
No, here's my question to you, and I believe, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Is it now? I believe the Washington game is 7 innings. So if it is, do you still believe the Trey Turner 7? That's probably
Yes.
also why. That's also why it's only a 7.
That's why it's at 7. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, he would definitely be at 9 or 10, like most
That's
of the
right, yeah.
hitters tonight.
Okay.
So yes, you have to look at it from that standpoint of people you can get, I guess, too involved in that of like, oh, they're only going to get 7 innings. The guys at the very top of the lineup. I think that affects you from a DFS standpoint, sure. But Prize Picks, we're just looking at 1 or 2 things happening well. I mean, the guy gets a hit, steals a base, he pretty much goes over. If you're looking at the scoring chart for the baseball, just MLB, I think you get 3 for a single, 5 for a double. A stolen base is 5, so a single and a stolen base you go over. There's not much that has to happen there. He gets on base with the base on balls walk, it's 2 points. A stolen base, that's 5 points. I'm really more geared around the fact that this guy has tons of speed. If he gets on base once or twice, I think that we're got an easy over there.
All right, I just locked him in. I locked in Turner over.
And you do have Adolis Garcia on the board. You got to jump on him. 1.5 total bases. I like that line.
I thought I didn't see him. Wait, he is on here?
Yeah, they were trying to be sneaky and put him on there. That's what they do. That's how Prize Picks likes to do us, guys.
So we want Garcia over 1.5 total bases.
Yeah, well, I really like that.
All right, I'm going to take out Turner. I'm going to put Garcia over 1.5 total bases.
There you go. Yeah, and I do like I didn't mention Juan Moncada, 1.5 hits plus walks. You can only have 2 batters per team, so he's somebody else that I really like a lot here.
Yeah, I have Moncada 1.5 hits walks, Abreu 1.5 total bases, Seager 0.5 runs RBIs, Kelenic 0.5 runs RBIs, right? And Garcia over 1.5 total bases.
That's right. And you got, just so everybody knows, I mean, I know we talked about we like Alex Wood a lot, but you got these Dodgers are really dangerously low on these lines tonight. I'm probably going to lock in an Evan Longoria, 0.5 runs plus RBIs too. That's a good play. I like that one as well. So, yeah, man, lock them in. Pete, thanks, man, for having me around. I appreciate you guys. But like I said, I think this is the time we're going to break out of some slumps tonight.
No, yeah, we'll break out of it tonight. Yeah, it was good. It was nice to have somebody on here. Go a little bit different. Everybody's sick of seeing my face, hearing my voice. And we still got 5, 10, 12 minutes to lock. If anybody doesn't have any last second questions, we're out of here. Yeah, we're out of here. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Deuces.
Yeah, brother.
Thanks, Mickey.
See you guys later. Thank y'all.